Dom here again. Lovely to be talking to Charlie. What's your role here, Charlie? You're head lecturer? What's your...
Yeah, so I'm the course leader for the esports course, and I'm a lecturer in esports as well for the university.
So today you're opening these facilities. It's great to be here because it was a building site a few months ago, so I'm impressed how quickly it's open. Tell us about your general thoughts on the course starting, the facilities in general.
Yeah, I'm super happy with how the building got to be where it's at. It's a very technical challenge, so we had a lot of problems and getting solved and stuff like that. The university's been super fantastic at that. You know, we've been here at multiple hours, multiple days, people pulling overtime to make it happen. So the fact that it's now all here, it's all very real. It feels still a little bit weird, like it's all been paperwork and plans and diagrams, and now seeing it and walking around for real it's a bit surreal. The course itself, I'm really happy. You know, the students are really chatty. We have a great conversation. Obviously, there's a bit of dialogue about the numbers of students, but it's a tough recruitment cycle last year. It's when you don't have facilities to show, it's hard to really engage people. When we've been taking people around with the open days recently, they've been super like, oh wow, this is for real. It's not just students sitting down playing video games.
You need to see to believe sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. The way we've been phrasing it on one of my more senior members of staff, they called it you're selling a promise, not a product at that point. And it really was. It was like, this is what the course is going to be. This is what the facilities are going to be, rather than this is what the course is. Here's some students. Here's the facilities in action. So it's a much bigger difference. So yeah, I'm really optimistic. We have a lot of opportunities with the feeder colleges now. So a lot of the people that do esports at a BTEC or UAL, they're starting to get involved with us. We have those relationships with those people, and now we're inviting students to come down. Even we've got interest from Norfolk. We've got some interest from London. So we're kind of expanding our reach, and yeah, so I'm quite happy with how things are going.
Yeah, I was saying to the students as well, I'm quite a glass half full person. I like to think I am. And actually, you've got 6 students starting. I don't think it's that bad. Like you say, the facility's just started, just open. And, they're going to get dedicated time with you.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. If I'm a student, do I want to be in a class of 30, 40, or do I want to be on a slightly lower, and then I get more dedicated time with my lecturer and course leader?
Yeah, I think the way I've been phrasing it is that I get to know them personally and they get to know me personally. So I talk about my TF2 days, and I tell them kind of the wacky stories that I've been involved with.
Good old days.
Yeah, exactly. Like the kind of running around the NEC, trying to find that one player who went on a smoke break and all of that. But it's those kind of serendipitous moments, those kind of water cooler conversations that doesn't happen when you have a lecture theatre full of 50, 100 students, and you talk to people that have been in universities where they have these courses for years. The faces just blur together, and you start it's a sad phenomenon. But a lot of the people who've been around a while, is unless you're absolutely amazing or absolutely terrible, you're immediately forgotten once you leave university. But with these 6 students, they've all got really unique personalities. They're really keen, and they engage in great conversations, and it means that we can build a really good alumni relationship.
Yeah.
So it's not just about once they graduate, it's bye, see you forever. It's more that they get to now engage with our students and kind of build this culture. What I really want to do is kind of cement Suffolk and kind of the east of England as a opportunity to engage in esports in a slightly different way, because it's all very metropolitan at the moment. It's cities. You've got the Mayor of London obviously talking about, hey, let's do Worlds, let's do all these big tournaments, but there's very little support right now for the grassroots scenes, the local scenes. And something like this is that opportunity to engage the local community and get people involved at a local level. So teaching these business skills as well is something that I hope contributes to that.
Do you know what? I actually think local is the future, because, and I say that because we've seen the closure of some bigger events over the years, WASD, Insomnia, okay, it's coming back, but it's not at the NEC. I know we've got some new events coming, DreamHack, but we had the Lowestoft Game Festival the other day. I was at I did a careers panel at the Norwich Games Festival a few months ago.
Yep.
We've got the Suffolk Mariners, we've got this stuff here. I feel like localised games events and esports initiatives can be really important. I think they're going to come to the fore a little bit more in the future.
And not to pull on the TF2 card all too much, but the TF2 scene, we operate on next to no money, right? So, but we've been able to make it happen for nearly 20 years at this point. If again, you could argue 20 years, right? And again, we've relied on stuff like Insomnia and DreamHack and all these kind of stuff. But a lot of the events nowadays, we're going to a venue with a number of PCs and we're just running a community get-together. Yeah. And these are barely cost neutral, but we get just enough to be able to run it next year. And so it's not too much of a step further to build up a more vibrant grassroots scene. But if you expand that to games that are kind of more mainstream, like the Riot games and Dota and 2K, like 2KXOs now obviously kind of growing, all these kinds of proper esports games, or at least in the mainstream, we have an opportunity to grow the grassroots scenes in these areas, right? And again, I think you are right in that the local scene is kind of where I think not only where we're going, but where we should be going. Because it's an opportunity to get communities together, to bridge kind of, post-COVID, there's a lot of issues with people, especially younger people, is socialising and connecting with people. Absolutely. And this is an opportunity for these students to have a shared interest. We had a student, I think you spoke to him, Callum. Yeah. He was talking about how you hear about all these players that are really shy, really reserved in like the LCS, and then suddenly over a few years they become really outspoken, really like personable. And I think the same thing is true even if you're on an esports course or just doing esports in general. So I think like dominating the social and local market is an opportunity for us. And again, universities can be the hubs for these. Yeah. You have all these universities that have facilities. We can have the opportunity to use these facilities to build these local communities of gamers and esports.
Yeah, and I was going to say as well, I know the cohort is 6 at the moment, but I'm sure they'll make friends with each other, and you're part of a massive, amazing facility here. There'll be other societies they can join, whatever, movie societies, sports societies. You've got existing games, esports societies, have you? How are you integrating with them? How have they reacted?
So the games and esports societies, they're kind of in flux at the moment. Right. So if you don't have the students interested in running it, it just doesn't happen. And I think COVID hit that especially hard. So I think there's a lot of effort in kickstarting it. But we have these established courses. We have games, we have digital film production, screenwriting, and it's the building and the esports course is an opportunity to bridge all these different industries together and kind of create this creative industry cluster at the university. The building, we've got a bit of criticism over the £1.7 million facility, but we've also laid off laid off staff, right? And the response to that is that this is an investment. It's an opportunity for us to lay the groundwork for expanding the university and integrating it. And I think you can look at the facilities and see how they're fantastic, and I think they are brilliant. But there are opportunities for it to be used for things like digital broadcasting and media and stuff like that. So we tried to build a space that is for gamers and for esports, but also has that opportunity to be expandable. So the broadcast room, that's fully expandable because it's all PCs at the moment, whereas we can integrate kind of rack mounts and the kind of stuff you see at these big events. We can expand the studio and all of that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So this is not just a short-term fad, and regardless of where the direction of esports degrees goes in 5, 10, 15 years' time, this building will still exist, and it will be kind of this central hub for creative media. I think, honestly, our biggest strength as a course is our students. You've had the opportunity to meet them. They're an absolutely lovely bunch. They're super engaged. I'm really, really proud of them, and I've only known them for 3 weeks. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what we can do. And these students are, I think, going to have a really interesting skill set that makes them not just desirable within the esports industry, and it's also the opportunity for that to go into different industries as well. And I think that's going to be one of our strengths. I think the main thing is I'm really, really proud of the students. I'm really proud of the facility. And I'm looking forward to, the next 3-5 years and seeing where we end up.